It's not about luxury homes. It's about that quiet moment when you realize you were never invited inside. You scroll through endless images of glass towers, ocean views, and private elevators. Each photo a glimpse into a life you feel is just out of reach. You tell yourself softly, those places aren't for people like me. But deep down, you know the truth. That whisper of doubt gets louder every year. And here's the harsh reality. If you don't understand how the wealthy can buy entire buildings with the same money you casually spend on a weekend, you risk spending your entire life paying rent to someone who learned a simple, quiet rule you haven't yet grasped. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. So let's get honest. If luxury real estate was never meant for you, why are they suddenly allowing people access for just $100? And what do you think happens if you ignore that? Look, I wasn't born into money. I was born around bills, late ones, stress-laden reminders of just getting by. I watched adults pretend everything was fine, but their tired eyes and short tempers told a different story. They worked harder than anyone you see on social media, but they still ended up broke. That's when I learned something indispensable. Effort doesn't pick winners. Structure does. Years later, I finally touched money. Not a lot, but enough to feel dangerous. Then I lost it. Fast. Bad decisions, big ego, and listening to loud, confident voices that turned out to know nothing at all. I remember those long nights alone, staring at my phone as it glowed in the dark, watching videos of men perched in penthouses saying, anyone can do this. They lied. Not because it's impossible, but because they skipped the part where the door had been locked for decades. Luxury real estate used to be an exclusive club. If you didn't have millions, connections, or the right bloodlines, you weren't just late, you didn't even exist. That's why this matters. The game changed, yes, but it changed quietly, in the shadows where many don't bother to look. And those quiet changes, they erase people. So let's break down the traps that keep you poor. First trap, comfort. Not the pleasure you think, but that insidious comfort that feels harmless. Subscriptions, takeout meals, little upgrades that make life easier. You tell yourself, it's only 100. But that mindset has buried more dreams than outright failure ever could. I know a man who earned decent money for 15 years. He never invested, never owned. He just lived. At 48, he had a terrifying epiphany. Every wall he touched belonged to someone else. He wasn't lazy, he was distracted. Second trap, fake hope. The kind you find in the comments section, where people say, next year will be my year. That's a drug that delays pain, and delayed pain compounds. I met a woman who waited for the right time to invest. The market scared her. 10 years later, she's still waiting, watching time slip away as she grows scared of age. Third trap, status theater. Buying things that look rich but act poor, designer shoes that don't earn, fancy cars that drain your wallet, smartphones that age faster than you do. The wealthy don't flaunt their wealth first, they secure control first. And the worst trap of all, believing that luxury comes only after you achieve success. That belief locks you outside the very system that creates success in the first place. Now let's shift gears to what it really means to win. Not the Instagram version of success, but the real, gritty one. Winning is often silent and lonely. I've seen men double their net worth and, in doing so, lose friends because success tends to expose people for who they really are. You stop needing approval, and they sense that shift. One investor I know owns buildings across 3 cities, and you've never heard his name. He eats alone. His phone doesn't ring unless it's about money or emergencies. He once told me, freedom costs more than stress. But here's where the narrative takes a twist. For a century, luxury real estate was heavy, anchored by brick, steel, regulations, and banks. If you couldn't lift the building, you couldn't own it. Then something changed, quietly, behind the scenes, in paperwork. Ownership started breaking into pieces, tiny fragments small enough to slip through cracks the system never meant to seal. Now, here's the exciting part. Anyone can own pieces of buildings where others sleep. Not enough to feel rich, but enough to feel dangerous. What changed? They stopped trying to buy entire buildings, they started buying access. And access, that changes everything. Before we dive into the mechanics, let's take a moment to pause. This is where many rush and miss the core lesson. Tokenization isn't magic, it's permission. Permission to own without having to control everything. Control is costly. In contrast, ownership is empowering, legally structured, asset-backed, and yield-producing. Not just pie-in-the-sky promises or hype. Here's the golden rule. If you treat this like a lottery ticket, you'll stay poor. But if you treat it like oxygen, you'll learn to protect it. Protection fosters patience, and patience creates compounding. And in this game, compounding doesn't care how you feel. So imagine this, money is your oxygen. When you have it, you rarely think about it. But when you don't, nothing else matters. Luxury real estate is that stored oxygen, thick walls, prime locations, places where money hibernates. For decades, the rich had all all the tanks, while everyone else struggled to breathe. But tokenization cracked the valve just enough to let in the oxygen, not enough to suffocate. Another truth you must grasp: money is not happiness, it's a prison key. Without it, your world constricts, roots disappear, and choices quietly die off. Owning even a small piece of something real is like carrying a hidden key. No one sees it, but you know it's there, ready to unlock freedom.